Hello, I'm Emmanuel. In this video, I will be showing you the AutiCare Connect system. I developed this system to help a primary school for children with autism. Autism or autism spectrum disorder is a developmental condition that affects how a person perceives and interacts with the world. It is characterized by differences in communication, behavior, and social interactions. The school faced challenges with tracking students' performance and communicating with parents. So my team and I were asked to create a web and mobile app to address these issues. The parents would use the mobile app while the teachers and the principal use the web app. I built the web app and a partner of mine developed the mobile app. In this video, I will focus on the web app, which I created. So let's get started. I will first log in as a teacher, but please take note that I won't demonstrate basic features like resetting your password, as I've shown that process in another system called the Green Cruisers. To reset a password, we ask for your email, and then we simply generate a token, and then we send it back to you. You can then use that token, or sometimes we can send like a link to you, okay, which you have to follow to reset your password. Now I will log in as Mr. Dlamini, a teacher at the school, right? The first thing he sees is a notification center where he can read notices from parents and other teachers. He marked them as read or leave them for later if he wants to, right? In the morning, when the students arrive, Mr. Dlamini needs to take attendance. He also needs to check the behavior of the students during their transition into the classroom and ensure that all the children have taken their medication, right? He records this information down in the system and then he submits it. When it's time for activities, Mr. Dlamini selects an activity from a list and then scores the students based on how engaged and independent they are. For example, if Paul isn't engaged in an activity, according to the key at the top, Paul should score between 1 and 4. Depending on how involved he is. If Paul isn't independent, he would also score between 1 and 4. Mr. Dlamini repeats this process for each activity and then submits the data. If Mr. Dlamini is concerned about Paul's progress, because maybe he has been getting low scores, he can check Paul's profile. There, he can find personal information about the student, as well as details on how to support Paul, as you can see. Mr. Dlamini can also view Paul's goals and check if he is meeting them. He can set new goals for Paul or update them as Paul progresses. Now, to track Paul's performance, Mr. Dlamini can easily click on the update button to get updated scores. He can also see the status of Paul's progress and view the scores in a graphical format. This allows him to compare Paul's performance across different activities. So Mr. Dlamini can also track Paul's overall progress from day one, viewing the data by day, week, month, or even a year. So as the charts show, that you can see that Paul has not been doing well lately, right? So concerned, Mr. Dlamini, he decides to contact Paul's parents. He just have to go back to Paul's profile and then click on the contact a parent, right? There, he can type a message and sends that message, right? The system already knows the parent's email, so Mr. Dlamini can easily send the message without having to type in that email, right? He might say something like, I'm concerned about Paul's performance, and maybe I would like you to help, with extra activities at home. Remember, that's Mr. Dlamini contacting the parent, right? If Mr. Dlamini feels that the school has provided all the necessary support, he may decide to involve a therapist. Although therapists are not part of the system, Mr. Dlamini can create a report for the therapist, right? He answers specific questions about Paul's behavior, such as does Paul interact with other children? Does Paul recognize familiar sounds? Or does he make eye contact? These are some of the questions that the therapist would like to know, right? In order for them to be able to help students like Paul. So now, once the report is complete, Mr. Dlamini submits it, generating a report with Paul's details, attendance, participation, and other important information for the therapist. Now, to share the report with the therapist, Mr. Dlamini can generate a PDF and download it, right? He can then send the downloaded PDF to the therapist, since, well, the therapist is an external actor. Well, that's what a teacher can do with the system. Now, we're going to have a look at what the principal can do. First, I'll log out as a teacher and then try and log in as a principal. Mr. Mota, right? The principal at the school. So the principal has access to everything a teacher can do, but also has additional features. Mr. Mota can see all 16 learners in the school, each assigned to a different group or grade. But for now, let's consider it a group. If a new student, say for example, Walter Maleka, joins the school, Mr. Mota can register that learner. All he has to do is just to go click add new learner, and then there he will find a form, right? And then he just have to enter the student's name, birth date, gender, functional level to place them into the correct class. Afterward, he registers the student's parent, and once the parent is registered, they're gonna receive an email, asking them to verify their details and stuff like that, right? So after Walter is registered, the total number of students, as you can see, it has increased to 17 because now we have 17 learners, registered. Mr. Mota can also deregister students or update their personal information if needed. As the principal, Mr. Mota can easily monitor attendance for each class and view the performance of the classes, using chats. Finally, Mr. Mota can schedule meetings, with either parents, teachers, or both if possible. For example, if there's a meeting on the 24th of the month, maybe for parents, he can send a single message to all the parents saying that maybe something like we have a meeting on the 24th or stuff like that, right? And then the parents will receive the message through the mobile application. Well, that's an overview of what the web app can do. And the rest of the stuff can be done by the mobile application, which is where the parents receive these messages. They receive everything about the learner and stuff. So thank you for watching.